hear the music, so you know what's up. And yes, this is Steve Harvey, the man that I have fondly, well, not so fondly, have called the Magic Mustache Man. The man that has been the target of your blood will be shed. But here's a surprise. Today, Steve Harvey, you are not the target. Today, it is these two bastards that's the target of my wrath. Dr. Umar Johnson, or so-called Dr. Umar, as I like to call him, and failed comedian Corey Holcomb. Let's start with Dr. Umar. Dr. Umar Johnson, you like to sentence people to 500 lashes or 1,000 lashes for conduct unbecoming of a black man. Well, I say back to you, Dr. Umar, my fate is a lot worse than 1,000 lashes, because lashes eventually heal. But blood that is shed is very hard to fix and replace. Your blood will be shed for robbing the black community of $2 billion approximately from the last 10 to 15 plus years, because you've been doing this since I was in my 30s and I am now 51 and still no school in sight. Your blood will be shed for saying black queens forever, snow bunnies never. But you are a living contradiction. You saying you raising up the black, so-called black queens, yet you are robbing the black queens. You are sleeping with the black queens, manipulating them to do your bidding. The black men have been onto your game, but the black women have been slower to get onto your game. And as for you, Steve Harvey, saying black queens forever, snow bunnies forever, speaking for myself, I myself have engaged with both black and white women, and all of it, to take the line from KFC, all of it was finger licking good. So quite honestly, I say black queens forever and snow bunnies forever too. As long as they're over 18 and a consenting adult. Who cares who made you the policeman on controlling and trying to police another man, especially another black man's privates? And why are you worried about it anyway? And speaking of which, your blood will be shed for lying on the Frederick Douglass connection. And if you're so against interracial, should you hate Frederick Douglass because wasn't his wife a white woman? Just saying. Now on to this other piece of crap, Mr. Corey Holcomb, failed comedian. After almost 2 decades of work, the best you could do is a little podcast called The 5150 Show. But the biggest one of all, those sex jokes on tape, on wax. Corey, where's the joke? And many of your defenders will say, man, it was just jokes, it was just jokes. Where's the joke about talking about underage children? No. And I can be pretty no holds barred, but I do have my lines. I do have my lines, and definitely on children. The only interaction I want with children is making goofy faces, or if they're mine, changing their diaper, or playing catch with them, or teaching them some early reading, writing, and arithmetic before they go to pre-K. That's the only interaction I want with kids. Beyond that, the stuff you're talking about is sick, even if you've never done it, actually done it, and just joking. The fact that you would even think of that type of stuff is sickening. And trying to take out other commentators for talking about you when you put it on wax, it is on video, it is in the public for all consumption. So how you gonna pull that off without going broke, Mr. Corey Holcomb? And by the way, you keep saying, oh, it was just jokes, it was just jokes. Eddie never needed to do that. Eddie Murphy, I mean. Eddie Griffin never needed to do that. Richard Pryor never needed to do that. George Carlin never needed to do that. The late Bernie Mac never needed to do that. Even, and I hate giving this hurts me to my soul to have to give him credit. But even Steve Harvey never had to do that. Even he has never done that. Making jokes about adults is one thing, even tasteless ones. And then going after another man's family, even though I don't like Anton Daniels. Going after the man's family, his wife, well, his wife's one thing, she's an adult. But going after his underage daughter, that alone is suspect. And the fact that you got up in a man's face because he said metaphorically, you suck the of the black community. And you talk about you don't say that, but yet each and every time you have to talk about men in a sexual way, such as Poetic Flacco talking about he got a BBL. Who looks at a man that hard? Even gay men don't even look at men that hard. To tell that. Which tells me, who has put hands on you, Mr. Holcomb? Who has laid hands on you? Who hurt you? And who do you need to get back at? Or perhaps go to a doctor and get psychoanalyzed, because no man talks about somebody being gay. You can't even leave the late Kevin Samuels alone. Yeah, I refuse to call him the Godfather because he wasn't my godfather. I personally didn't like the guy. But nevertheless, the man is gone. And you still talking about him. What man does that? So, for all these crimes, your blood is being shed, and you know it's a sad day when Steve Harvey looks better than you. You know. Up. And let me say this on a personal note as myself. I would say I'm going after them because of all the wrong they've done. In the case of Dr. Umar, taking over $2 million approximately, putting down races of women while trying to call himself lifting up another group of women, even though he probably hates them deep down too. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's banged the other day he tells everybody to stay away from. And then lying about being related to Frederick Douglass when even the family has come out and said, no, he isn't. And then on Corey Holcomb, especially with the sex jokes and all that stuff on kids, underage kids. I would like to say, if I was coming out here saying it, just for content and fun. Yeah, but I'm also saying this because I knew guys like this growing up. I knew guys just like this, and I saw them often, and this is how low standards or how choosy Susie standards we are in the black community. We gave guys like this pass after pass because, oh, he funny, or oh, he's cute, or oh, he talks good, oh, he talks that preacher way. Yeah, it does something for me. Guys like this, and yeah, if you want to call me a hater, fine, call me a hater. Guys like this, I hated y'all's fucking guts. I hated your guts. Because now at 51, now I'm getting I've lived this for the most part. I can't say I've always been a perfect angel, but for the most part, I've lived the straight and narrow. And I'm now getting my life the way I want it, or the way it's supposed to be, or the way God for me intended. But I have to say, when I see guys like this who've been getting pass after pass after pass, especially in the black community, for years, and have had years to turn their life around, have gotten all kinds of offers, especially to give a little bit of credit to Dr. Umar, especially from black women who were always my first choice until I got older and realized there were other choices out there. And now I just happen to be with a good woman who just happens to be black. But I was open to women of other cultures. I was open to women of other cultures if one would have came along. But guys like this turned my guts, and I hated their guts. And these are the type of guys I tried to avoid, because they used to do something to my spirit and my soul that was nauseating. But everybody else just praised them like they were the greatest things, or a good time, or try to make it seem like something was wrong with me because I wasn't hooking them. They're like, man, you need to quit being cooped up in the house, which I'm like, how can I be cooped up in the house if I'm earning a paycheck at a job? But anyway, yeah, that's another big reason I'm making this video. I would say it's because you out there putting it all out there doing wrong, and I'm joining among many voices calling you out. But truth is, to Dr. Umar Johnson and to Corey Holcomb, I'm doing this video because guys like you, I hate your guts.